Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Chris Cahill, and I'm coming to you live from Skidrow Studios in downtown Los Angeles. And the name of the show is Psychic Every Day. I'm very, very happy to be here tonight, Wednesday, January 22nd, 2014, and just really pleased to be back in the studio and to see my friend Mindy tonight. And hey there, Mindy. How are you doing this week?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really happy to see you.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Well, thank you. Didn't you just tell me you had a couple shows last week?
I did.
Do you have any more coming up soon?
February 1st in Pasadena. It's a Saturday.
Right on. What's the name of your band?
Dangerously Sleazy.
Her band rocks, you guys. You've got to see them. I saw them at the Skidrow party. It was so much fun.
Yay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I hope I can make that one.
Yeah,
Nice.
it should be fun. It's at the Old Town Pub in Pasadena.
Oh, that's a great place. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, good to see you. Nice
You
to be
too.
back.
Thank you.
Well, and since we're doing a live show, Mindy and I, we are going to be taking callers tonight. So again, I'm Chris Cahill. This is Psychic Everyday Radio, and skidrowstudios.com is where you're listening. We are also live streaming video from our on our domain at skidrowstudios.com. So you can just actually watch the video there. And you can also catch the show at stitcher.com if that is your preference. So hello, everyone. Couple things. If you've been a fan and you've been listening to the show and kind of following me all along, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of that, for doing that, and for being part of this show. My show is almost hitting the year mark. In February, I'll do a little yearly, first year anniversary celebration, but it really is wonderful to have been part of this station for this past year, and I will be continuing. I'm doing a lot of new kinds of themes and, stuff for January as we're getting into 2014 about kind of really resetting the energy or resetting the tone for what it is you're working on and for, creating your life and doing what it is you're doing moving forward. I'm doing it on my end, and then you just get to take the information and the ideas and run with them, go play with them. As a psychic, I work with energy. I work with the energy, the spiritual vibration of different concepts and tools and the body and healing. And I'm a clairvoyant. I look at energy. So I will be giving readings during the show tonight. The number here is 1-800-893-9562. And if you want to call on in during the show, you don't even know what I'm doing the show about yet, by the way. See, I've been holding it back from you. But if you want to call in at any point tonight during the show, you will be able to get a reading on my topic. My topic is, drumroll, being and doing. What's the difference between doing, being in that doing mode, action, and the being mode? And how do they work together? And when does each one really work for you? And so on and so on and so forth. So I'll be working with the energy of being and doing, and I'm pretty excited about that. I do want to send a couple of shout outs. First of all, happy 12th birthday to my wonderful nephew, Angelo. Love you, baby. I got to talk to him today, and he's just turned 12, and I can't believe it. It's really nice to have all these nephews and nieces, and I get to say hello to them and, wish them things. And also, another thing, I will be a guest on another show here at Skidrow Studios tomorrow night. Thursday, January 23rd, I'm going to be a guest on the NPR show, Nestorius Public Radio. And that is at 9 o'clock live tomorrow. And Nestor has assured me that he's very excited about interviewing a psychic on his show. And his show is great, so go check him out if you haven't yet. There are so many great shows at Skidrow Studios, and we are real radio on the internet. So there's just so much happening here and new stuff starting every week. Now, the other thing I want to say is another shout out. Thank you to my first show sponsor. I am now accepting sponsors for my show. If you want to be part of that, I will get into that a little bit later in the show. But I want to say thank you to Catherine Zukowski. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. Now, getting into our topic, being and doing. I was born and raised in Chicago, and when I was a little kid, there was this show that we used to watch. All the little kids watched. It was a show for little kids, funnily enough, but it was called Romper Room. And I think it was regional. I don't think that people on the West Coast or the East Coast had it. I'm not sure, how far it spread. But there was this song, or it was kind of a little thing that they would do during the show called Doobie a Doobie. And the idea was that you were going to do good things and be a good kid. And so you're going to be a doobie, don't be a don't be. And when I started working with energy years later and learning about doing and being and, body and spirit and how you work them together or what, all these different things I'll be talking about tonight, I just kept thinking about Romper Room and Doobie Doobie Doo, which is also a song that a stanza in a song by Frank Sinatra. But it's that whole do or be or do be or be do. Can you do both? Can you be both? Doing is often a demand to be in motion. It's just a demand. And it can also just be, it's fun. You want to do things. You have a zillion things to do. There's lots of things you want to get done in this lifetime. And you might have your bucket list of the things you're going to do. And so doing being action, doing being able to kind of make something real on some level. Do. But doing, with the way I'm talking about it in tonight's show, also is a demand. There's sometimes a demand to be in motion, to show your work, look busy. It's really about getting results. And it's about getting results that can be seen. And that can be really great. It can be validating. It can be wonderful. It can be about, doing the things you can only do in the body. Like, for example, take your body to the gym and work out. And you get results. And there's this doing that's very validating. There's a way of being able to direct your energy into the direction you want to go in with your energy. You want to spend your energy in this direction. And it's validating because you get to see the results. You get to experience the things that are, that you're creating. And it's pretty cool. But where I'm going to be getting into this a little bit, or kind of taking doing apart, is when it becomes the definition of who you are. What is it that you do? So we ask people, oh, hello, when we meet them, what do you do? What is it that you do? And we've all been raised to look for the things that we wanted to do. And meanwhile, really, on a spirit level, we were probably looking at how we wanted to see ourselves doing those things. There's kind of a definition that gets created with the doing. I'm doing this, so that means I have this definition. And so it's real. Doing is real. You may have, there may have been demands on your space or demands on you, excuse me, to be showing certain people that you're doing certain work, that you're, like, for example, showing your boss. You've got to excuse me. I'm getting over a cold and it is still in me. Mindy's laughing at me. I'm talking about doing, and what am I doing? I'm coughing in your ear. Anyway, showing your boss, for example, that you're doing the work. Now, if you're hired to do or to get results or to show up and do something, that's definitely understandable. You've got to produce results. That's part of what you're there for. But what if you were to do a little bit less of the being in effort on a constantly trying to churn out results? This is where it's going to get very interesting in this show tonight, besides me trying not to cough in your ear. But what if you're doing something more interesting, like actually bringing your spirit in, bringing the part of you in that actually knows how to be, using your spirit to help you get results in a different way, less effort. So when you're working from that spirit of you, that energy of you, sometimes what that does is it forces you to not care what others think about how you're looking. The doing often goes along with, how does it look? Does it look like I'm doing the work? Does it look like I'm, putting in the effort? Now, on the one hand, you can't lie, about going to the gym or about working your body out. That's something you have to do on a body level. Your spirit has everything to do with that too, but we're not going to get into all that right now. So here's another way of looking at it. From the time we were all babies, we were watching adults and how they spent their energy. Doing is a lot about how are you directing your energy. It's a third chakra level of existing. And we all have a third chakra. That's the one in your solar plexus, right below your rib cage. Your third chakra has to do with how much energy do you have? And what do you get to spend your energy on? How do you distribute it? What is the demand on where you put your energy? So again, back to that, from the time we were babies, we were watching the adults and how they spent their energy. Think about it. The household you grew up in, how that was for you, watching how people spent their energy. Were there very busy adults? Were there more relaxed adults? Was there a combination? Was there judgment about people who sat around and relaxed? Because sometimes that's the thing, you're sitting around and relaxing and you're being kind of lazy. I'm feeling a little guilty. I'm being a little lazy today. When actually it's not lazy, it might just be that you need a day to simply be, to do nothing. Apparently that's what my body has been telling me. And so instead of me listening, I got sick. So I had to. Not the best plan, but I do that sometimes. It's kind of funny. And you might too. So you can laugh at yourself like I'm laughing at me. So doing became the thing that was real, that was, that this is, you're actually on the path, you're doing these things. Being, simply allowing yourself to be in your own space, working from your spirit, became less validated or seen as being something that one could actually accomplish anything with. There's always that demand at that third chakra level to be spending energy and to be churning it out. Now, the problem with that is if you're always in doing mode, doing, getting up and, I have these 25,000 things to do today and I'm going to do all these things and yada, 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 then you might be running so fast you forget to simply breathe and be. Meditation helps you with that, but you knew I was going to say that. Hey, everybody, by the way, in case you just tuned in, I'm Chris Cahill, and you're listening to Psychic Everyday Radio at skidrowstudios.com. And I have a phone number here. It is 800-893-9562. I will be giving readings tonight on being and doing. And I'd love to hear from you. So there. Okay, so you're a little kid, you're watching how adults run around and how they spend their energy and what gets validated and what everyone's supposed to be using their energy for. Because that's the other part of that education. How do people spend their energy when you're a child? Where did they direct it? Did some people, some of the adults spend their energy, a lot of it, by the way, worrying, like that's, this is what makes it real. I'm really a good person. I'm worrying about 25 other people and I'm going to keep worrying over them. And, something will get done magically somehow. But that's just a way that people spend energy. It's a doing. Or it might be that in your household, there was just a lot of activity. Everybody was, the house was constantly getting cleaned and everybody had to be, show that they were doing something. Or it could be the opposite, that there was family time or people got to sit around and just relax and not have to be in that mode of I have to be doing something. Or there are people that you grew up around or people you know now who it's really uncomfortable to be sitting still near because they don't know how to sit still. I'm not trying to make them wrong or start any wars here in your family. All I'm saying is there's a certain kind of level of learning that you go through when you're a child, when you are around that. You learn from watching how others spend their energy. And then, of course, the demand and the what are you supposed to do, the judgment about doing, what doing is real. So then you go to school and it's a lot about what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do? They might have said, what do you want to be? But it's not really a who do you want to be, meaning yourself. And I'm not trying to make schools wrong here either. I'm just saying this is how we work it. We've worked it for many, 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 many years as a culture and as a planet is sort of about the doing, being in the what looks real to me. I see the body moving. There's action taking place. Activities are happening. Things are getting done right in front of me. Now hey, I'm just as happy about that as anybody else. I'm just as thrilled when people have focused, clear, direct action and are spending their energy in a way that creates something beautiful that actually I benefit from. Just as I do that and others benefit from it too. That's wonderful. But what all of this doing can sometimes do is it creates a big splash and sort of overlooks a very important part of the whole puzzle, or of the whole picture, I should say, which is the being, the spirit, the energy, your spirit. Everything starts with energy, and everything starts with you, the being, you, the energy. What you came here to actually create and do and have and be this lifetime. And the part of you that is more than just the doing. Now, question I will be talking about in the second half of tonight's show is, what does your spirit have to do with not being an effort? And how does it make it easier to do the things you want to do? Back to doing. So one thing I've noticed, and I'm sure I've been guilty of this too, I know I have to say, yes. I've noticed adults making a big show. I noticed this when I was a kid too. Adults often making a big show of how much they get done. And it's really funny because, you can have one person who just gets a bunch of stuff done and they're totally cool. They're like, yep, did that. And then goes and sits down and, pours a glass of iced tea or something and relaxes. And then the next one who's really dramatic about it, oh, I did all these things, and it becomes this big show, kind of like a, look, I was good, I did all this. It's very funny. And it's just, everybody has a different style. People just have their own kind of style. Men and women have different styles when it comes to using energy, directing it, and doing. Male energy, female energy, we all have both, but men and women do have a different kind of style generally. What I've always noticed and what I've learned, in later years too, is just women, the amount of energy we have in our bodies is pretty phenomenal. And there's just a different way of working with energy. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just simply different. And so there's often more of a demand on female bodies to be in doing mode, the nesting and nurturing and taking care of things and bustling. And, there's so many, it just depends on the individual. There's a very funny cartoon I saw years ago that illustrates this. The cartoon, a very simple little black and white line drawing, a man sitting in a chair with his legs crossed, reading a newspaper, and a woman's walking by him, obviously his wife, carrying something. It's like she's moving a vase from one room to another. And he looks at her and he says, after you do that thing, could you please not do the next thing? And I thought that was pretty funny. It's absolutely a great illustration of being and doing. I have got a caller, and I will take my first reading. Good evening, and welcome to Psychic Everyday Radio. You're on the air.
Chris, it's Karen.
Hello, Karen. I thought you might like to call in for this one.
You know it, and let me tell you, I'm persistent. I've been texting with another friend who almost always listens, and neither of us can access the show.
Really?
So I love the topic, saw your newsletter, and thought, I'm just going to call and say hello.
What, you can't listen to the show right now?
No, neither of us can pull it off online.
That's funny. Do you just have a bad connection?
I guess that's what we're assuming.
Yeah, you might need because if the connection isn't fast enough, it might be difficult.
Yeah, that must be it.
Well, I hope that others are hearing. I think they are. So, but thank you for listening and for calling. And tell me, do you have any comment on this topic? I had a feeling you might have a little comment on it.
I love this topic. It's a new year, and I'm thinking, should I be doing something? But I kind of still just want to be. And what is coming up is, the thing to do is maybe take some small steps, but I still kind of just want to be, and I'm struggling with a little bit of should I be doing something?
That makes a lot of sense to me because I've given you readings on this topic in different ways for a while. The demand to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, shall I go in? I'll just go in and take a look at it. All right, good. And so the picture I see with this is there's a picture of you standing at the doorway of your third chakra. And your third chakra used to be really filled with all these different energies, like, going back a few years. I'm seeing it kind of like a room, and there's a lot of busyness and a lot of working, a lot of different energies in there working. It's almost like a great big office room. And it looks like your third chakra, when you were working in your old, how you used to work and had an actual job somewhere where you went to it, which I'm glad you don't right now, not this way, for you, but the picture is that there were all these different energies in there and just different, kind of like everybody coming to work in your third chakra, but it's also a lot of demands on how you're supposed to spend your energy. And you were in agreement with it. It was fine. You're like, okay, this is what I have to do. And it would just exhaust you because you had so much happening at that level, but it was all about working from that level. I see your father's energy here too. Kind of just the demand, like, this is how you do it. And it's also interesting because it's also a male picture. Women have it too, but women tend to work also like on a female body level, but there's this third chakra demand that's very male. That's and again, women do it too, but it's a male energy, and it was very uncomfortable in your space after a while. It was not just your father; it was like your bosses or the male coworkers. Just like you worked in a very male dominated environment. And so I see that in present time, what you've been doing for a while now is shooing everything and everybody out. And then when you'd feel uncomfortable in your body, kind of like there'd be sort of a, like you're experiencing from time to time. I just see this picture of you kind of jerking and saying, oh, there's another, I should be doing something. And it looks like what you would do is go back in your third chakra, fish around in there, find the thing. It looked like it would usually be like a piece of paper or a program or a demand or something. It's almost like your third chakra was this great big room that was a computer, on a programming level. So I'm seeing it as you've been turning it into a more organic energy center, clearing out the computer demand, the programming, the ticker tape, like the old fashioned, the early computers, how they really were the size of a great big room.
Yes.
And that's the picture is you've been making it smaller, but not making your chakra smaller than it needs to be, sort of just simply making the energy smaller for a while, cleaning it out. And in present time, looking at you wanting to simply be, it looks like your body is still kind of finding its harmony with where it wants to be with your spirit. I see this picture of your body and spirit in present time. Your spirit is playing the flute, and it looks like Pan, Pan the god, the horned god, and your body is, it's very male. Your spirit and not that your spirit is male, but that's the picture, and your body is this really just sort of happy, sort of relaxed female body dancing to the flute, and the two of you are sort of dancing along, and there's no straight line. It's just simply you're playing. So what I see you're doing right now is you're working on it, like you're working toward what you'll be doing next. Mm-hmm. But you're still in this space that you haven't experienced since you were a child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. You haven't experienced this level of permission. And I see that the growth period involved with it has been just phenomenal. Really pretty awesome. A long one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it doesn't look like anything's wrong to me. It looks like what you're doing is you're getting permission to really kind of, change the way that this vibration of this third chakra works for you when you do go back. It looks like you're past the point of not trusting yourself and what you'll use your energy for, and you're in a different level. You've also been clearing out the fear.
Right. That's exactly what I've been doing.
Yep. And that's a big one.
Excellent.
And if I was going to say next step, I would say more playing.
Okay, good. Well, I can do that.
That's a rough one, right? Yeah. All right, Karen, thanks so much for listening.
Excellent. Thank you,
Enjoy.
Chris.
I hope you can hear the rest of the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to log on again.
Perfect. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Hey, everybody, I'm Chris Cahill, and you're listening to Psychic Everyday Radio. I am live tonight at Skidrow Studios, and my number is 1-800-893-9562, and I'm doing a show on being and doing. So I started with doing, and doing, using your energy. That's kind of what you just heard in the last call was about using your energy. Like, how do you direct it? What is the demand? What is the programming? What's the learned response to using your energy? And we'll be getting into more of this in a couple of minutes. I've got another caller. Hello, you are on. Hi, yes. Who is this?
Chris, it's Lori from Chicago.
Lori, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm actually in Atlanta, and I think it's so cool that I can just call you.
I do too.
No.
It's very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, nice to hear your voice, Lori. How do you like the topic tonight?
You too. It's really good. I'm actually look to myself to find that in myself, my being and my doing, and I really want that to be working together. Like just to have that be more seamless.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at it.
Okay.
Because, and you would have heard this anyway, and you also have heard it before, but, it's a lot about body and spirit, bringing the two together, the communication. But I'm working at it from this perspective, just because this is a very important topic, too. But I'm just going to take a look at the pictures that come up with you bringing your beingness and your doingness closer together. So I'm just going to say hello. The first picture I see is, this is just the picture. The picture is you're a milkmaid, and it looks like it's, sometime, a long, long time ago, like an old-fashioned milkmaid. You've got the little white cap on your head and the long blue dress, the cotton dress, and the white apron. And you've got one of those big wooden bars that holds, a bucket on each end that you put over your shoulders, whatever those are called. But you've got one, and you're going to the barn. This is so funny. You're going to milk the cow and do it by hand, literally. And it's funny because you get there and the cow is sitting there. Like, the cow is this being. The cow is saying to you and wanting to talk philosophy with you about what you're about to do. And I don't get it. The picture is just that you're going to do something, but it doesn't make sense. It's not working the way it always did. Something is out of place. And it's the spirit of the cow, and it's not about the cow, obviously. It's this picture of you going to do the thing you've always done. I've always done it this way, but this is how it's done, kind of thing. And you're running into this sort of like topsy-turvy thing, and this looks like the growth period about wanting to bring body and spirit together. When I look at this from a different angle, I see this other picture of, when you go to the eye doctor and the eye doctor is fitting your prescription, where they keep turning the lenses around to test your eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
And the picture is that you're doing this on a visual level for yourself right now. This looks like it has a lot to do with this growth period. A lot of clairvoyant adjusting, kind of looking at things differently. Excuse me. And I see you, in this place of working from wanting to be doing things that are more clear to you, not just being in this place of unconsciously or going back into the same patterns over and over. And so this picture of you looking to adjust your vision, how you see, how you look spiritually, and that's the being. That's you, the being. And one of the things I see that looks like is part of this growth period you're in and what can help you moving forward is that you're learning how to access your spirit more, to trust that part of yourself where though you do, on many levels, you do trust your spirit more than you did when you were younger. But there's still a part of you that's always been skeptical about how much power you have as a being. How much power do I really have? And that's what I see you're really working on is a lot about, I see you picking all this fruit off the tree. Like, it's not just one little thing here. There's all this stuff you're picking off. Like there's a great big apple tree pulling down nourishment or wanting more answers or information. And this is not an Adam and Eve picture, by the way. This is you like bringing in your own information. And I see you're really in this place of not knowing what to do necessarily or what steps to take because it doesn't make sense the way it used to. You just can't do it the same old way. It's just not going to work. And there's this, so there's more of a, it looks like as you started really working more in this direction, it became a consciousness and your body was going, I just don't want to go do that. Not the same way. I can't do it. And your spirit was unwilling too. So there's this present time sort of detente or peace or truce rather between you body and you spirit, looking at what's the road we walk on then together. I'm looking at a good next step for this is not what you should do or that it has to make sense, but that it's more about what feels good. This is where you bring body and spirit together. Your body is communicating to you through emotion and feeling, but there's also a sense in the body. And it looks to me like part of what helps you moving forward is really trusting what your body's telling you and what your intuition tells you in the body, and then what you, the being, feel. It's like a lot about that experiencing. Is that making sense?
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's making a lot of sense. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. It's actually, yeah.
Well, that's what it looks like your next step is. Like, actually, one of the words I wanted to say is it's time to have more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, yeah. I think that's a good next thing to do.
That's what I think I'm going to be hearing a lot of tonight or seeing a lot of tonight, because that was it for Karen, too. So, fantastic, Lori.
Yay. Oh, you know what? I also had a hard time getting on.
Really?
Tonight.
Huh.
Yeah. But I think I refreshed the website and then I was able to get on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tell people, too, like, remember, Stitcher.com is a great way to listen to any of the shows on this station with a smartphone. So if it becomes difficult sometimes online, you can, that's like a different kind of thing. So anyway, just for future reference. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're very welcome. Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Continuing. This is really fun to look at. Being and doing. Here's one of my favorite energies you run into when you think you should be doing something and you're not doing it. Guilt. Guilt, the gift that keeps on giving. As in, oh my God, I'm so bad. I should be doing that. I should be doing this. Now, here's where guilt is going to get in your way. And that is when, well, pretty much anytime, my opinion, but guilt will get in the way of you actually being when you're trying to sit and be and have your space and relax and you're feeling guilty that you're doing that. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here. Sometimes you just got to sit still and be, and that will help you create some space for the next kind of thing you are doing. I have another caller. Hello, you are live on Psychic Everyday Radio. Who's this?
Hello, it's Linda from Tucson.
Well, hello, Linda. How are you?
I'm good, and people should go down a little bit on the right to where it says open up streaming window, because I was able to get on as soon as I went down to that. For some reason, the left-hand one at the very top on the webpage is what's the problem.
Okay, good. I will.
FYI for the manager.
Fabulous. I'm sure he's on it right now, but I will definitely. Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you, Linda. So, do you have a comment about tonight's?
Sure, no problem.
No, I appreciate it.
I do. I'm listening to the show because I'm in this space right now, and I just wanted to say that because that's how I got on. I'm in a place where I've been helping other people. And I'm almost to the end of it. In about 3 weeks, I'll be done. And I'm thinking about possibly moving to Chicago.
Ah, back to...
Yes.
But wait, you aren't you originally from there?
No, I'm not. I'm an Army brat, so I actually was born in New Mexico. But I moved from Los Angeles to Tucson to help my father sell his house and to help him move.
Yeah.
And now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay,
it's time for you.
Have my life.
And you're ready to experience freezing cold temperatures and snow. Yay!
Yes, I actually like the cold. I was originally going to Tahoe first, but it didn't work out. I suspect because I needed to be here.
Yeah, Chicago will be perfect for you if you like the cold. That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, good for you. Let me know because I go there from time to time. But tell me, what can I do for you? Would you like a reading here on this stepping out of the using a lot of energy to help others and getting to a place where now you get to direct it to you?
Yeah, the being part. Because since I've been here, I've been trying very, very hard to just relax. And whenever I have to, I will go over and help. But when I'm not helping, I've just been here thinking and trying to just be in a place of relaxed openness, if you will.
Well, I see this picture.
So
I'm reading it. I see a picture that you're accessing some of your past lives as a mystic or as a medicine woman. Like I just immediately saw this picture of you accessing a past life in a Native American lifetime, and you were kind of one of the healer women of a particular tribe, a particular group. And the picture is you understood the power of the spirit, really, that lifetime you very much understood it. It's not like you always sat around and didn't do anything. It was more about that you got how active the spirit is, just how much less effort you'll be in if you are working from that part of you. And that's the picture I see is you're bringing... I see also you sitting on the earth or just the kind of where you live in Tucson, something about being in the desert. Just as even if it wasn't what you originally thought you were going for, but just being in that part of the country and that part of the world is working for you with this particular growth period. And you always knew on a being level that it was only going to be for a short time, that it wasn't going to be, you weren't going to settle there. There was always just this kind of resting. It's a resting spot, even if you haven't really rested, except for, resting in between the help. So I see, too, you needed to do that. It's sort of like you had to park yourself when you got out of, over here, away from L.A. and this area, and from the job and everything you were doing for so long. You just had to go park yourself and kind of reset. And that's the picture. And it looks like when you go to Chicago, you're going to be in a whole different vibration. If you do move to Chicago, wherever you move from here, I don't see you staying where you're at all. I know you said that, but I just don't see it. It's necessary. The picture is if you go to Chicago, there's people but there's also it's a whole new energy you get to move into. And the being, you're trying to reprogram yourself to give yourself space now so that you can trust that you won't go back into the old habits or the old programming about what you're supposed to use your energy for. So that's a big deal. Some of what I was saying earlier in the show about watching adults or seeing what you're supposed to do, when you were a kid, a lot of that really stuck with you. It's like, how do I use my energy or what am I supposed to do? It's kind of like we watch our greatest examples, those we're growing up around and say, okay, this is what they do. That's what I have to do to belong or fit in or be good or be accepted or something like that. And so I just see, you're in a different place now. You're in a place where you're like, I don't need to do that anymore. Actually, one of the big things I see, Linda, is you got over other people's opinions of you.
In a big way. And verbally as well.
That's very, very healing. And you can't be controlled like that anymore. And that is a huge deal. And that will make it much easier for you to consciously choose what you do with your energy. Plus, if you move to Chicago, it's got in my opinion, the world's best clairvoyant training school. Hint, hint. Anyway, just mentioning it. Envision, by the way, for those of you out there listening who are wondering. So there. That's a story, woman. Okay. That's what I see.
All right.
I look forward to catching up with you some more at another time, but it's really nice to hear your voice, and I really appreciate you listened and called in. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, everybody. I am your radio host, Chris Cahill, with Psychic Every Day at skidrowstudios.com, and we are real radio on the internet. I'm doing a live show, and I'm here Wednesday nights, every Wednesday from 7 till 8 o'clock Pacific time, doing a live show or having a pre-recorded show, but usually I'm live. And it's really fun. I love it. I love that I'm getting all these callers tonight. I have another one here who I'm going to take in just a moment. I think they're up and ready. And then we'll go into the rest of the show. Hi, you're live on the air.
Hi, Chris. It's Cindy. How are you?
I'm good, Cindy. How are you?
I am well.
Good. Nice to hear your voice.
Thank you. I had the same trouble getting in, but I pushed the open up streaming window, and that helped.
That's what someone else said too. So that's just something
it was
I guess.
Tough.
Yeah, I will let I'll let the powers that be know, but I'm sure that they know by now. So, but I'll tell them. Anyway, well, do you have a comment about tonight's show, or do you have a question?
Well, I like the topic, and because it's a new year, and I started working on 2 goals. I'd say back in October. One is more personal in nature, and one is it's relationship oriented, and the other one is job oriented. And I'd like to know what you're seeing around how much being I should be doing and how much doing I should be doing. I thought I had the right balance, and I'm a little bit
how much being you should be doing. Did you hear that?
What?
You're funny. How much being you should be doing.
Yeah,
I know.
Versus the doing I'm doing.
Well, and that's you have a lot of matches with many with the other callers, like at least 2 of them that I'm looking at right now who called in tonight. That energy matches, but with just the demand where you've always had that demand at a 3rd chakra level to be in motion and action and responsible and doing and taking care of, and the transition you're in right now is, which is where you're creating the picture I see is it's like you're repainting everything, repainting your own space. And when I see you looking at the being, the picture I see is you've got this picture of what it means to be being, and you're looking at it. It's like a sculpture that got delivered to the new space, and it's in the middle of the space, and you've got it on a table, and you're looking at it and saying, I don't know if I like that. It looks like it's not big enough for this space. Let me go see what that, because that's the picture is actually you look at the being as, even though you get it on a being level, like you, the spirit, get how big it is. But this is a picture a lot of people have that being isn't so very much. It's not what's real. And it's this demand on you to kind of not give that more weight or not let it be as big as it really is. Because the spirit of you is far more powerful and much bigger than the body. And that's the picture too, is your growth period right now is all about learning how to like it or to, and here's what I see. It's a picture of you learning how to be by getting out of your own way and not trying to control it. It's a trusting picture. It's trusting, it's relaxing about what is. It's allowing everything that is to be, because you're very good at something isn't quite right and you'll go and try to change it or fix it. Now there's nothing wrong with that, but there's also this other level of sometimes you can't. I can't change it. I can't fix it. I have no control. So in other words, you're learning how to let go of being a control freak.
Oh, you're so right. Oh my goodness, this is so true.
And it's not a bad thing. Why do any of us?
It's not easy.
It's not easy. I know. Believe me, I'm born and raised a control freak over here. It's a tough one. But when you start to really embrace how large your spirit is, I mean, this looks like what you're trying to learn how to do in baby steps. How much do I trust my, it's sort of like your spirit is a 16-year-old who's got a new driver's license. Okay, how much do I trust my spirit to drive the car by itself? That's really funny. It's a good picture. I know.
That's too funny.
And that's what you're trying to do is like take, not worry about it. Your spirit doesn't have a learner's permit anymore. It's got its own license. So you're trying to figure out, how do you trust that it's okay to just let the spirit go, that it's going to, and the vehicle is your body. So the car is your body. This is where you are working right now. You're learning on how to not be feeling unsafe or out of control by trusting spirit.
That's
your
so
own.
True.
Yep. And so that's kind of the study you're in. If you were to think about studying anything or taking classes in anything right now, it would be your spirit. And so it looks like it's time to start not testing it or sabotaging it or, trying to find reasons why you should go back to controlling, but more about giving your spirit things to play with.
Great.
Yep.
Well, thank you. This was a great reading.
And thank you. And asking for more help. You can ask for more help on a being level. Why not?
Great.
Go for it. And thank you for calling in. You gave me a good chuckle. I really love reading that stuff. It's fun.
Thank you.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, my show time just seems to fly. I'm almost out of time tonight. I have another 9 minutes or so. I want to get into a few things. I mean, that was just a wonderful call to be a little transition into working from the place of being. I've been talking a lot about doing and the whole, vibration of doing and the activity and energy and all the rest of it. So let me talk a little bit about what helps you become and be. So you are a spiritual being in a physical body. So there's your body, the part of you that does all the stuff, that runs around and does the action where things are happening. But just like the last caller, your spirit is actually the one driving the car if you let it. If you're letting your body always drive the car, your body's going to only do or drive into the places that it feels safe in. And our bodies don't always feel safe. We have to help make them safe when we're trying to take steps to create something brilliant or do something that really takes a lot of courage or heal ourselves, create new relationships or forge new paths. That's not the body doing it. That's your spirit. And you, the being, you, the spirit. Your mind can either be helpful or a real pain in the ass in that case. Everyone's like, body-mind connection. I'm like, no, it's body-spirit connection. Your mind is part of that. It's very important. It's not that we want to walk around mindless. One needs to have a mind. But often what we will do is we'll go in and try to solve and figure out and analyze and make sure it's all safe to the mind before we go and take a step. Now, what I'm going to suggest is what I always suggest here. You hear me say this a lot. Start to create the connection with your body and spirit for yourself. And you can do that. It's a do-it-yourself project. You can certainly get help. You can take a class in learning how to meditate or to work with energy. You can listen to a meditation. You can just start to do it. You can take a yoga class. You can go and, take up the drums or start to paint or write or do something that really gets your spirit moving on a creative level. When you start, and I have to apologize again for my coughing, but whatever, let me get over it. When you start to work with your own spirit, to listening to that higher part of yourself, that part of you that actually, if you start to let it drive the bus, run the show a little bit, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much easier it is to create for you. If you're constantly working from doing, you'll find that you're in effort sometimes about how you create. But if you start to work more from your spirit, from working with the energy, the spirit of anything, things move faster. Okay, I have a question for you. And this is just something you don't have to answer me. Just look for yourself. The people who you count as being very successful or brilliant or creative or talented or kind of on some level brainiacs, I mean, you might see them doing a lot of stuff, but on another level, it seems very effortless. When you watch somebody just creating, yes, there is work involved. Nobody's writing a really great novel without putting the hours in, actually putting the words down on paper. But there's another level that's at play there, and that is the spirit of that being. That spirit that came in to this lifetime maybe saying, I want to be writing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure that I put the work in required, but it still takes that brilliance of that spirit to show up with the ideas or the energy that is required to create anything. If you are always in the doing, you'll forget sometimes about the being. So I'll tell you, learning to meditate does help you with this. This is one of my favorite ways to remind myself to be and to step out of constantly doing. Grounded meditation's my favorite. It really is a specific kind of meditation, and it helps you to have permission to be in one place at one time. If you're grounding, you're also making it easier for your body to feel safer to communicate with your spirit. And if you're one of those people who gets nervous while being still, like every time you're still, you have to find something to do. It's funny, too, to look at how we all are just so addicted to our smartphones and our little, objects and all of our stuff. And none of that existed when, and not that I'm like super old or anything, but none of it existed when I was a teenager or in my 20s. Like, we just didn't have that stuff. And there were different things I'm sure that we would fidget around about, but it's a whole different level of how many attention points a person will send outside of themselves and not have within in present time. So you start to work with grounded meditation, with finding time to be still and to be, and it's a whole different conversation happening within you. If you have a journal, if you like to write, if you like to sit and be quiet, if you like to just go and be out in nature, whatever it is that helps you be. I love in the summertime going to the beach and just sitting on the sand and looking at the ocean and just listening to it and trying to be as far away from screaming children as possible. But even so, they're having fun and it's kind of fun to watch them. But just in a place where there's peace and it's quiet. And it's really noisy near the ocean, but it's a really nice noise. It's that lovely wave, the waves coming in and the being that goes along with it. So whatever it is that helps you. When you step out of constantly doing and identifying yourself with what you've done, you begin to move to the eternal part of yourself, which is your spirit. Here's another advantage of this. Bodies work in effort. Bodies are generally in effort. There's no problem with that. Bodies need to make an effort. The spirit works in non-effort. The spirit is fast, instant, light, in many places at once. So you, the being, can be in many places at one time, where your body will be in one. If you start to work from a place of, for example, back to meditation, bringing your spirit back to where your body is, in present time, that makes it a lot easier for you to work with yourself, to not feel divided. So body and spirit working together, and you'll find there's a lot less effort. So here's an example. When you're doing something interesting to you, your spirit, you the being, if you're doing something that's fun or interesting, you the spirit will be present. If you're doing something like you're going to a job you don't like, you're going to be all over the place. You're not going to be present. You're going to be in many places at once. You will be anywhere but in your body. But when you're able to do the things you really like, to spend your action in a way that works, it's easier for your spirit to be present. How about if you decided to work it from the place it really works, which is start with your spirit, work from that energy, really communicating with yourself, and it'll be easier to create the things you want to do. Hooray. I'm coming to the end of my show. I want to thank a number of people, but I also want to mention that I am taking sponsors for my show now. I am accepting support and help. On my website, on my blog, psychiceveryday.com, I have a whole page called Listen to Psychic Everyday Radio, and I'm letting people know I'm accepting sponsorship. You can sponsor my show for any amount of money if you want to. You can, if you want to make a contribution, you're welcome to do it. I have a link there for people to do that, and I thank you for that. You can also find my show as a podcast on iTunes. It is just go searching for Psychic Everyday on iTunes, and you can subscribe to it. It's free. And then I also just, in case you'd like to learn more or just be on my newsletter list, I have an email list that is also a free weekly newsletter, and I send out articles and just different bits of information about energy and whatever my topic is that week for my show. And if you go to either chriscahill.com or psychiceveryday.com, you'll see my sign up. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for those of you who called in, and I appreciate all you fans telling me you like my show. Thank you. Thank you, Skidrow Studios, and thank you, Mindy. And I just want to say I'll be back again next week, which will be the last Wednesday in January for another live show. I really look forward to hearing from you and to, talking to you then, and it's going to be another fun show. So have a great week and work a little bit on your being and doing. Bye.